Okay.
Hi, everybody. I'm Maggie Zamora, and I'm the president of the Houston Rose Society. I could not be more happy to introduce to you a lady that I admire so much. Her name is Billie Flynn. She is close to our parts of this world. She is in Alexandria, Louisiana. Many of us here at the Houston Rose Society know Billie already because she has the eye for art, art with roses. So, to tell you very briefly a little bit about Billie, Billie has been a member of the American Rose Society since 2009. She is a master of all trades. Um, she is a member of the Louisiana Rose Society. And if I'm not mistaken, Billie, you are not only a master rosarian, but you're also a a judge for what? You
Correct.
judge
I'm a
different things.
horticulture judge and an arrangement judge.
There you go. Now, I remember meeting Billie at one of the conventions, and she was showing some of her arrangements, her artwork with roses, and I was absolutely blown away. And I told Billie then that if I were to get married for a second time or have a revow wedding, that I would fly her into Houston and ask her if she would do all of the rose arrangements for my second wedding. Beautiful work. So we are actually so blessed to have Billie here. And so Billie is going to be showing us some of her artwork. And I made Billie a little tiny arrangement to celebrate our meeting today. And she actually said she liked it. So I'm very, very happy. Thank you, Billie.
Thank you, Maggie. I'm glad to be here.
All right. So I'm going to turn it on over to Billie, and she's going to talk about modern arrangements. Have fun and be creative. All right, Billie, it's all yours.
Thank you. I enjoy making arrangements. I make them for my home. I make them for my counter, for my husband. And then once I get brave enough to do that, then I decided I could make them for the rose show too. Modern arrangements are really very creative. They're very simple. That is the key to modern arrangements is simplicity and rhythm and dramatic lines. Look at this. This is the rhythm of it. And it's so simple. It just has two roses. That's another reason I like to do arrangements. All of your roses might not just be perfect for the exhibition in a rose show, but you can use that little short stemmed rose in an arrangement. You can remove those bad leaves and you only need a few roses. Very simple in modern arrangements. We're going to talk about these three rules for modern arrangements: simplicity, rhythmic, and dramatic. It's simple because it only takes a few roses. It's dramatic because you're using something that you had that and you didn't know what to do with it, but you kept it just in case. You saw this beautiful stem. It gave rhythm and motion. I want to point out now too that when you're making an arrangement, be it a modern arrangement or oriental arrangement or a traditional arrangement, put your biggest roses at the bottom because big looks like it's heavy. So you're putting your big roses toward the base and your lighter roses toward the top. It just gives it balance. It's simple because it has less greenery. This arrangement, I made this arrangement And I had more greenery. I had a lot of more things I could have put in it, but it needed to be simple. I didn't need to fill in all these spaces. This arrangement, she probably had a lot more of this filler material, but she didn't use it. A butterfly should be able to pass through a modern arrangement. It's simple. It has open space. It uses less greenery. The simplicity is from having less foliage. A butterfly could definitely fly through these arrangements. The line material is the filler material, and it's used to create rhythm and motion. Look at this arrangement. If she would just had her vase, her roses, and her greenery, she wouldn't have had much motion. But once she added this, she gave her arrangement dramatic movement. Your filler material can be natural or it can be man-made. It can be metal. Straight lines are also motion and rhythm. They're straight. That's a motion. Use the filler material in an unconventional way. It makes it bold. It makes it, wow, never thought of that. Look at that beautiful branch. It showcased her roses. She put the biggest rose at the bottom, and then she gradually went up to her smaller roses. Once you start doing arrangements, when you find something, line material, you say, oh, I have to keep this. I might can use this later on for an arrangement. Stop the car. There's something on the side of the road I can use for line material. You only need a few roses. She only had one good rose here, but she had this nice okra that made her a good line. This lady was at my house and found this stump that I had, and we cut it off, and she used it for an arrangement. Look at this. Very dramatic. So your line material can be natural or it can be man-made. You just have to keep an eye out looking for it. Line material can also be manipulated and abstracted, but the roses may never be, you cannot alter them. You cannot change them. This is a rose show and you're showing beautiful roses. But for the abstraction, you can twist these, you can bend them, you can cut it. Just by putting something in an unnatural position gives it a dramatic effect. I use some of the same arrangements over to repeat what you're looking for. The line material can be completely man-made using this metal, but keep it simple. I'm sure there was more greenery to be used, but you need to, a butterfly needs to fly through here. You need the space. Modern arrangements can have their roses in different positions. They don't have to all come from the same one place. See how this is coming from behind the vase? This is coming behind the vase. Some are coming at the bottom, different places. That makes it dramatic. It makes it modern. It makes it different from traditional or from Oriental. In modern arrangements, you don't even have to have a vase. The vase doesn't even show, or it can be a very modern type vase. And you just, if all you had was one rose or a few roses, and look at this, how she put it in a little container down here that doesn't even show, so that she gets the use, the dramatic display of the roses. Just finding a stick, a curvy stick, and then attaching it to another board to make it give you the dramatic effect. You don't need a vase. Make your own. The trick is to learn how to attach these things so that they have water, because they're not going to live unless they have some water. A test tube is easy to hot glue to something like this and have the little short stem in a test tube. Okay, when you get started to make your arrangement, now you have some ideas what a simple modern arrangement would be. Gather your things in front of you, look at them, play with them. How can I use this stick? How can I use these um, garlic flowers or this yarrow or whatever you have? Put it in front of you and play with it. Then after you've put it in position, try to know what you're going to make before you start. Don't, and keep your roses in the water while you're doing this playing. Put all of your things together, then put your roses in last. Often taking a picture of your arrangement lets you see where you have, oh, well, this is all too crowded. This I need something, a little something to go in this space. Just be looking for what you can use for line material. You'll be inspired by what you have. Look for man-made objects that show motion. Keep it simple. Don't overuse the foliage. Have rhythm by the movement of your line material. Create the dramatic effect with bold placement of your line material. Use very good roses because the roses are what stand out. So you have to have good roses. Put your big roses near the vase, then get smaller and smaller as you go up. Usually it's an odd number of roses, not an even number of roses. Although you can use 2 roses, but usually the odd numbers look better, just naturally. Now, here was a hard thing for me to figure out when I got started with this was how tall to make your arrangement compared to your vase. And it's actually, I visualize it like this, that your arrangement is 2 times taller than your vase. It's 1.5 or 2, it's either 1 or 1.5 times or 2 times the size of your vase. So measure your vase. If it's 12 inches, then you can go as high as 24 inches. Or you see if you'd have cut it off right here, that would have looked good too. The bigger blooms go at the bottom because they appear to be heavier. Now this is getting toward the end of it, but this is very important. Read the schedule before you go to the show. This is a schedule. If you've never been to a rose show, you have to have this before you go. All of the roses that you use must be garden grown. You can't go to the store and buy big, beautiful roses. You're going to a rose show, which is the members are coming to show their roses that they grew. And besides the roses that you buy at the grocery store, there are all those hybrid teas that are the same. They're all big buds, and they're really not as beautiful as an opened up bloom that you're going to have in your garden. The schedule is going to tell you if the size of the arrangement, it's going to tell you the restrictions, uh, and then it's also going to tell you, okay, what class this is in. Class 4, you're going to have to write that on your card that this is arrangement for class 4. This is an arrangement for class 5. It's just because they put them in these little different categories so that when they are showing them, they keep all the same type of arrangements together. If the arrangement says, okay, free form design, irregular design inspired by nature. So that lets you know that it's going to be using some uh, line material that has a big curve to it, uh, a stump that would give you some dramatic display. And it will say if you can only use fresh or naturally dried material, whereas this one says it's abstract. And you must have at least 2 abstract qualities. That means you must have some bends and some twists and turns that you've abstracted it. And this is the one that you can use plastic or metal or ribbons or wires, whereas the other one is all natural. So you have to read this carefully. Read it twice. Think about it. They have these titles. Don't worry about that. I mean, this says Boogie Bayou Festival. Well, it's just to kind of give you, they're naming all of these different festivals, but your arrangement doesn't have to be anything about that. So don't get hung up on the titles. Although it's good if you can find one that's Zydeco music, okay, and that makes you think, oh, well, that's playful. If it says arranger's choice, then you can use any arrangement not provided in the schedule. There are all kind of modern arrangements, such as underwater or hanging or transparency, that are not listed in the schedule. This only gave you two things. This one had to be natural. Number 5 had to be abstract. But if you go in the book, and it's online, and I have this title several places. If you click on this, or if you go, I have it written out right here. If you go to the American Rose Society page at rose.org, and you don't have to be a member of the American Rose Society to go on this page, but you find the part that says members resources, and you click that, and then under that you find rose shows, and under that you find guidelines to judging arrangements. But that's really for anybody to learn how to make arrangements. You look at the guidelines and you go to page 47 and 49. Just scroll down till you get to that, and that's going to give you the different categories for modern arrangements. This is very important. In addition to the show registration, you're signing up and you're paying for lunch and you're paying to go to the Rose Show. And so you're registered to go to the Rose Show. But if you're going to put in arrangements, they're going to also ask you to pre-register your arrangements. And they usually give you just until a couple of days before showtime to let them know how many arrangements you're bringing and what class they're going to be in. Because, see, they need to know how many spaces to leave for traditional classes. There might be 5 people bringing something in the traditional classes. They need 5 spaces there. And then here are 10 people bringing something for modern arrangements. They need 10 spaces for modern arrangements. And then they have 7 people bringing arrangements for the East Asian designs. So they put arrangements according to their classes. But your schedule will tell you that. And maybe at this Rose Show, it just says, bring an arrangement and we will put it in. But usually not, because if you have 15 arrangements, it's hard to start figuring out the day of the Rose Show that you need place for 15 arrangements. And that is the end of my presentation.
Well, all I can tell you, Miss Billie Flynn, is that you have really inspired me.
I
So
hope so. I hope so.
you saw what I did at
Well,
first.
look at that, Maggie. Look, you did it. And
You
you
said
put the
I was,
big rose at the bottom and you have movement. I'm proud of you.
oh, Billie, you just made my day. All right. Well, very good. I'm gonna um, see if I can stop the recording. And Billie, it's always such a pleasure, and I cannot wait to see you to give you a great big hug.
Thank you. I want to come to your show, so be sure and let me have the schedule.
All right, let's see. Billie, I think you're gonna have to hit let me see if I can make myself the presenter again so that I can stop this. Let's see. Here we go. All right, here we go. Okay, I'm the host again. Well, Thank you, Billy. And I'm going to show this to my husband and say, look at what Billy taught me today.
Well, good, Maggie. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.